The main reason it's important is that I think in our society we become very, very materialistic. We have the notion, and I think it's supported by the media in many forms, advertising certainly, that having things, buying stuff is going to make us happy. And it doesn't matter how we get the money as long as we get the money to buy the things that the society says we should have. And certainly all of the literature, all the research, and even the anecdotal experiences that people have had over the last 3,000 years suggest that this is simply not so. And I think people underestimate the importance of doing something you really care about in terms of general life satisfaction and happiness. Certainly those who have done that, who have followed their passion, I think can testify eloquently to the importance of that. But I think it is misunderstood. It is underappreciated as a factor in life satisfaction.
Well, we play in a band called the Dirty Mill. Yeah, pretty much right here.
We play lots of rock and roll, and it's really loud and it's really fun.
Right now I'm working at McMaster University at this student center at Tim Hortons. What I do is I serve the students their first coffee of the day to get them going and get them into their studies.
Well, in a sentence, I'm a teacher. It's as simple as that. I'm associate professor of psychology here at McMaster University, but I would describe myself as a teacher, and I've been that way for 40 years.
So I'm a grad student here at McMaster in the Department of Infection and Immunity, and I work under the supervision of Dr. Marc Larcher and Peter Margetts. Now, for my project, what I'm interested in is studying graft versus host disease. And the reason I'm interested in this is we think it's a form of scleroderma. What I'm interested in is making a model of the disease in hopes that we can actually determine what mechanisms are in play that lead to the progression of the disease and how it starts. And once we can start answering those types of questions, we can start looking at treatments.
Well, I wrote the script and then we're co-directing it together. Mm-hmm. So it's just taking the script and trying to make it a reality.
As an actor also, like, yeah, we work together on that. He helps me a lot with every beat, and I'll tell him
anytime, man.
And we'll have a dialogue going the whole time about, like, what do you think of this? What do you think? How can I take this in a different direction? He'll be like, no, take this, and we'll find something organically that didn't exist before.
I do stunt and acrobatic performances, but it's more accurate to say that I'm in the pursuit of stunt and acrobatic performances in both multimedia as well as real life. And I say that I'm in the pursuit of it because it's not a consistent field of work. So I'm always searching for my next gig, I'm always searching for my next performance, but that's okay, I'm alright with that because it's what I really like to do.
Well, I'm a taxidermist, and the idea of taxidermy, it's an art of creating a skin of a bird or an animal on an artificial form in a lifelike manner. The federal government has given me a permit for songbirds so that I can use them for educational work for my carving club and for the community. And I've done work with scouts, schools, nature groups. I've been all over to try and let people see these things up close and to understand more about what I'm doing.
My job as a professor is I teach, I supervise, and I do research.
I kind of heard about parkour through the internet. Saw a video on YouTube one day. It was called Russian climbing or something like that. And I was like, oh, well, I'm going to go try this.
I just, not quite randomly, but close to randomly, chose psychology. I really enjoyed the psychology courses. I enjoyed others too. There were several other areas I could imagine myself having gone into, biology, history even. But I stayed with psychology, and I certainly haven't regretted that.
When I was young, my dream was to become a priest. I come to the conclusion that being a priest doesn't guarantee I'd be a good person. But being a good person can guarantee that what I will do it with success. That's why when I decided to become a professor, I was fulfilling my dream of doing something for the others. And there's nothing more rewarding than being with students and see them grow physically and intellectually, and being able to go even further than you as a professor you have been.
Yeah, I've known since like I was a little kid that I wanted to get into movies and stuff. But when you're a kid, you watch a movie and what you see is the actors. So I thought, oh, I want to be an actor. But then as I started going, I realized what I liked more was storytelling and writing and directing. I guess writing's my main focus, but I also don't like the idea of just handing my script to someone and them not doing it correctly. Like some of the jokes, it's a very specific humor, and it requires a specific reading of it. So that's kind of how I got into directing as well. So yeah, but I've known for a long time. What we did to pass the time in high school was make these dumb little videos, comedy videos.
And they just
and now what we're trying to do is turn what we did as a pastime, what we love, into an actual job.
It snowballed like crazy.
Yeah.
I practically just listened to Led Zeppelin all the time, and then I was like, I could do this. I could be in a band. And then in grade 7, when we had to do music, I played saxophone, and it really sucked because I can't play saxophone. Then one day someone was like, oh, we need another percussionist, and I was like, I'm so there. I'm all over that, and I just played drums ever since.
I played. I wanted to play bass really bad. I think it was at the same time, grade 7. We went to the same middle school, and my godfather, he said, "Fuck that! You gotta play guitar," and gave me a Stratocaster. And yeah, it's pretty much been a blur ever since then.
And then we came together in high school, and we're just like,
we're the worst.
Yeah, we just like didn't hang out with people. We just like come over and just play music.
The same things for like hours.
And then we'd assault people in the hallway. Be like, yo, you come to our show?
Yeah, we'd shake people down. Basically,
like for tickets, we had to sell tickets. And I don't know. But it was been, like, since then, it's kind of been no turning back. And it's been going pretty well.
My dad was an artist years ago, and he did a lot of flat art and painting, and I think his influence was a lot as far as the sculpting that helped me to get involved with anatomy when I was younger, and then I went into the other field where I'm in the taxidermy work.
What I like about research is that I'm a very hands-on person. I love working with my hands. I knew that from a young age. I want to do something that allows me to be very dynamic, where I'm not sitting at a desk just typing away all day. One of the luxuries I have working in a research lab is I set my own hours. So I have a supervisor and I do answer to him, but all he really cares about at the end of the day is, am I getting my work done? And this job allows me to do that. So if I come in a little bit later in the day, that's okay, as long as I stay later and finish my job. If one day I work 3 hours, that's okay, because another day I'll work 15 hours. And that's perfectly fine with me, because I can set my own hours, and I don't feel like I have to answer to anyone. I have complete autonomy, so they'll just say, this is your end goal, figure out how to do it. At the end of the day, you feel like you've accomplished something.
The lifestyle of it is really enticing to me. I get to train as much as I want all day, and I just really get to explore movement and what my body's capable of, and I really learn a lot about myself through doing my job. And it really feels free by just like me not having to sit at a desk all day. I get to train, I get to move, I get to be active. Because I'm happy, I feel like I have more potential to be successful in this field because I'm putting everything that I want towards it.
The trade that I picked, that I'm focused on it, I'm zeroed in on what I like, and this is what I like doing. And if you look around, you'll see that the kind of work I do here, you have to have an art flair in order to be able to do this type of work anyway. Most people could probably do a bird or a mammal up, but to get a lifelike look at an animal, there's a lot of facial features, and I go through all kinds of books and study them to find out, you know, the way they actually are in real life. When I find that helps me a lot using you know, the camera, get pictures, blown up photos of a head of a bird or whatever before I put it together, so I've got something to look at. So reference is a big part of this work, to be able to study and understand the subject you're doing in order to be able to make it look as real as you can. I've had people come and say, you don't have a taxidermy shop here, you've got a museum here.
What I find really interesting is introducing people to concepts and ideas they haven't experienced before, awakening students to facts, phenomena, and ideas that are novel to them, and in some cases, I think, which change not only the way they look at things, the world, phenomena at large, but also, at least in some courses, I think change the way in which they look at themselves. And I think that can be a particularly important kind of experience, and I find that particularly gratifying.
I enjoy playing live is pretty much the most fun thing to me, and also just making stuff. It's, I think it's just an innate thing that we want to make stuff, and my best tool to make things is with music.
You just get to play music with your best friends and have a good time, and you meet a lot of new friends, and you can, you know, once you get out on the road, you can see a lot of new places and do a lot of new things that you kind of can't in any other situation. And making something that you can be happy with on your own is like the biggest part of it, because it doesn't matter like if 1,000 people hear our music or if like just we ever heard it. It sounds good to us and we like it and we have fun doing it.
What I enjoy about my job is the contact with the students, which is very important, and learning. Because when you teach, you learn also. Most of the time, students become our teachers. And I love discovering. When you teach, you cross a lot of stuff. All the time, you're discovering new things. It can be a question from a student. It can be something you cross in your research. And of course, I love research. And I love passing on. My pleasure is to know that I'm here as a professor. I'm not only transmitting some knowledge, I'm also transmitting my passion, the passion of what I do, of what I love, be it reading literature or teaching language, even my passion itself of doing what I do.
I really enjoy the students. The students have really made me feel welcome, and I help them as well to make them feel welcome at the university, to feel comfortable, because a lot of them are away from home. So I'm hoping I ease it a little bit, give it a little home atmosphere for them. They keep me young at heart. They put a smile on my face as much as I try to put a smile on theirs.
And what I like about it, I don't know, it's just storytelling and we made our first film. It was a comedy, and sitting in that theater for the first time with like 300 people, and then from the first joke, just getting it filled with laughter was probably the best experience of my life.
It's like absolutely priceless. We go back to that all the time. Like that day, I was on such a high just from the positive energy of everybody.
Drugs.
No drugs. And yet, for me, it was like kind of a different path, but it's similar in that I started acting and then realized that directing goes hand in hand, and there's a lot that the two inform each other in a cool way.
Some people, like any field, are negative about what I do, and a lot of people don't understand why I do it, and they don't want to, I guess. They feel that mounting up a bird is not the way to go to bury it.
People say, oh, you went to school, you did a lot of schooling, but look, you finish up being no one. But that's not what counts for a professor. A professor is wealth, is well beyond material wealth. Being a teacher doesn't mean necessarily you become rich by being a teacher, but the richness is there inside.
The difference between my position and many others at the university is that I haven't done research for about 30 years. It was a conscious decision to give that up. I felt that I couldn't really devote the time and effort that either research or teaching really deserved. One of them would have to get short shrift. And because I found teaching so much more rewarding, I thought it'll be research that goes. Most of my colleagues would have made the opposite choice. They would have given up teaching in a heartbeat and stayed with research. And when I made that choice, a number of my colleagues, my advisor, other friends told me I was making a big mistake, that I'd end my career, I'd never go anywhere, never do anything, and so on. But it was really what felt right to me.
Yeah, some they think you're working at Tim Hortons. Don't you want to do anything better? Is this? But I get a lot of satisfaction on making people happy, and it's a simple job, but I get a lot of fulfillment out of it. How I can make someone's day. You know, it's the small things out of life that is more cherished. It's not always how much you make, it's how you feel. And if you feel good within yourself, then why not?
You got people that, especially in high school, people kind of like write you off as just like, yeah, you're just going to do this in high school because you just have this, like, it's a cool thing to do.
Yeah, it's like, I want to be in the movies, I want to do that. It sounds like a silly dream, but I mean, once people see the amount of work that we're putting in, how serious we are about it, I mean, those criticisms kind of quickly go away.
Well, the best advice, I think, I gave this advice actually to incoming students when I was Associate Dean of Science. I said, stick with the things you like. You may find a whole bunch of other things besides your current career path that really, really interest and attract you, and that's the direction you should go. I mean, a number of people have said, I can't pull out a quotation right at the moment, but where your interests and when your abilities and your passions meet, that is where your career should be. So you should follow up things that you enjoy and at which you are good, and try to make a career out of those, because you'll never regret it if you can manage it.
Yeah, they should just think about what makes them happy, and like, if they had just free time, what would they be doing? I guess space astronaut. That's people could do that.
You could be a spaceman,
Yeah.
or a spacewoman.
Well, you're going to be working your entire life, and it should be at something that you enjoy. Because if you're going to be spending like X number of hours for your entire life just working, it should be something you love, and then
It's like 30% of your life.
it maximizes happiness.
Yeah.
Get rid of your expectations to some degree. A lot of people say, I want to be a lawyer, I want to be a businessman, I want to be a doctor. I think when you do something like that, you're setting yourself up for disappointment. If you have a general idea of where you want to go, point in that direction and you'll land somewhere. No job is perfect. There's always going to be things that you don't like about your job. If you can find a job that has aspects of things you really enjoy doing, I think you'll be happy no matter where you go.
Find something that you really, truly love to do, because you're at work more than you are at home. Then it doesn't feel like work to you. That's whatever it may be. If you enjoy it, you soar in it. You do well, because it will make it so much more pleasurable. And life is too short. You've got to enjoy what you're doing. Bottom line.
I don't know, if you have something that kind of like lights this fire in you, is like super motivated, and like if you're trying to do it and then you try to do, something else, and it takes you so much, like if you find something that you really enjoy doing, whether it was like fucking accounting or it was like us playing in a band, and you struggle so much to try to do anything but what you want to do, you should just focus on doing that one thing, and like take a risk, because what's it gonna matter? Would you rather have taken the risk, or would you rather been like, man, I could have done something like 5 years ago with my such and such hobby that everyone just told me was a hobby, or I could have at least tried to do something with it.
In 100 years, no one's gonna know you ever existed. So why not have a good time? Like, just do what you want. Don't talk about playing in a band, or don't talk about being a photographer. Like, do that. Do whatever. Just I think that's another thing that the biggest piece of advice. Don't talk about doing stuff. You just have to do it. The other piece of advice I would just have to say is just fuck the haters, man. Like, if anyone says anything negative towards you, I mean, you kind of have to have just a blind arrogance towards that thing if you're going to survive at all. If you listen to what people say and you change what you do because people say, and you change the product you want to make because of other people's opinions, then you're wasting your time. You have to find something that you can have the courage to kind of just throw out there and say, this is it, basically.
Your dad once told me an amazing piece of advice. I was planning like a backup plan upon backup plan. I was like, okay, if acting doesn't work, then I'll do this. If this doesn't work, then I'll do that. And I just kind of had this list of things. And he was like, look, might not be my place to tell you exactly what to be doing, but in my opinion, like, you don't need a backup plan. Just if you want to get something, go for that. Do that. There will be time later to figure it out, but set your sights on what you want.
Yeah, while you're young is time for plan A, and if that doesn't work out, then you can think about plan B, but the only thing you should be thinking about if you're actually going to get it is plan A.
Yeah.
I love you, Dad.
I recommend that you pursue what you want to do because you're going to put everything you have into it and you'll get the most out of it. I just recommend trying everything that you possibly can.
At some point in your life, it becomes clear to you that you're not Da Vinci and that you can't do everything really fucking awesome. So you might as well put your head down and go in one direction, because it's better than standing at the crossroads and just like withering. You know, you might as well just put your head down and just go. That's pretty much it.
Just follow your heart, follow your passion, because I believe it doesn't matter what you do. What matters is how you do it and why you do it. That's the most important thing. Aim high, but follow your passion. The most important thing is to do what you feel like doing and respect those who are doing what they are doing.
You just have to try different things, and I did when I was younger. I painted and carved, and I didn't really know what I liked best, but eventually I started doing this type of work that I'm in now, and I haven't stopped doing this since I can remember. In 1969 I was doing this work, and I'm still doing it today, but I enjoy it more than anything else.
When you have something that you're so passionate about, you can't sit around and wait for opportunity to come knocking at your door, because it never will. Sure, your friends, like in your social circle, will know, oh, he wants to do that, right? But that's not going to create opportunities for you. You literally have to break down every door. You have to set up every interview, set up every contact. You have to do everything yourself. And it was about a little earlier than this time last year that the plans started to roll out for the film.
Yeah, we basically just said, like, we want to make a film, and then all we did was put all our free time towards
money, everything,
making that happen.
Yeah.
So it's just wanting it bad enough to put all your free time into it. I mean, if you really want to chase your dreams, you need to give up on just free time and sitting around. Like, yeah, you got to be motivated because you're creating it yourself.
Yeah, and we both like worked for periods of that. We both. I had school, like we both had so many things to do during that time, but it was still like, you know, the time that we would be hanging out, instead we have to sacrifice a little bit, and every time we hung out we worked. Yeah. And we just were working every single day that we hung out.
So it's, yeah, in terms of following your dreams, if it is something it's a little bit harder, I mean, we're working 9 to 5, and then those extra hours, those are all going towards what we want to do, so hopefully one day that 9 to 5 is what we want to do. So there's no just sitting around. You got to just use every time that you have to make those dreams come true.
Yeah.
I don't want to do anything else. I haven't considered doing anything else. When you're playing music and it's going really well, and there's nothing that compares to that. And that's it's vindication like that that makes you totally disregard any any kind of thoughts that would lead you astray.
This is a job I see myself do all my life because it's not something I chose by accident. It's something which is really in me, which I love, and which I value a lot. This is my life. I love teaching, and I devote my life to teaching.
I've been doing this for 3 years. That my perspectives and my opinions may change in 10 years, I don't really know, but there are aspects of this job I really do enjoy, and just based off that, yeah, I can see myself doing that for the next 10, 15 years.
Yeah, hopefully, if we're fortunate enough, yeah. If we keep working hard enough and make every film as the best film we can, then hopefully, yeah, we can have some success.
We can do it forever.
Just keep doing it, yeah. Yeah. That's what's keeping us going, is the dream of one day, all we do is make movies.
Yeah.
I'll probably do this until I can't pick a knife up or a pencil or whatever, because it's something that you have to have a passion for it. And I do, and I know that, and most people see it in my work.
Right now, I'm pursuing what I want to do. I really enjoy it, and I wouldn't have it any other way for now.
I can see myself doing this job forever, as a matter of fact.
I truly believe I'm a person that has to be out there dealing with people, making them happy. That's me. That's my enjoyment. That's why I'm here.
If you become comfortable with where you are, and you don't feel the need to be constantly striving towards the next thing, the next level, then you're fucking dead. You're done.
I'll tell you a little story. and I think it illustrates the importance of passion. Many years ago, I had a student come to me who was asking about doing a second degree in psychology. Her first degree was in biology, and it was, I think it had she'd earned her degree 8 years before she came to talk to me. And so I was chatting away with her, and I asked her, so just as a matter of conversational curiosity, so what have you been doing for the past 8 years between the time you earned your biology degree and now? And she kind of hemmed and hawed for a few seconds. She says, well, you know, I became a doctor. And I said something like, but not in these words, what the hell are you doing in my office, you know? I mean, you're living the dream that half of our students have, and you're telling me you want to come back and, you know, give that up and come back and get a degree in psychology. What is going on? And she said, well, you know, I started to practice, and I realized I just didn't enjoy it. I couldn't imagine getting up every day for the next 30 or 40 years and going to do something I really didn't like. She said, my real passion was psychology. She said, so I had to decide right now, because once you get into that, you know, field, when you get into the groove, if you like, it's hard to get out. You know, you've got to practice, you've got rent, you've got staff, you've got all this stuff. She said, I had to decide right then and there whether I was going to go on with something I knew I wasn't going to enjoy, despite the money, you know, and the prestige, or I was going to turn to the things that I really wanted to do, even though it was a risk. And she said, that's what I decided to do.